So in lesson 4, we're just going to kind of take a review of arithmetic in general and just kind of make sure we understand where we've come from in the past and understand where we're going to be going forward in the future. So there's different types of numbers that we're going to be talking about in this class. A number is just an idea, and so any type of you can be using a lot of different examples for what numbers are. Basically, a number or a numeral is just a single symbol or a collection of symbols that we use to express the idea of a particular number. Okay, so sometimes you'll see we know our natural 1 is a number. Also, if you go look at Roman numerals use just a couple lines with the lines over them. Fractions are types of numbers. These are different types of numbers. We all know what they look like. You can be using 3 pencils. You can use 3 slinkies like I have in my classroom. Those are different things that just represent. Those are different types of numbers, and they're just numerals or just represent different types of numbers. Okay, so there's different types of numbers. We have natural numbers, counting numbers, and real numbers. And natural numbers are going to be things such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea. These are natural numbers. Now, or we also call these counting numbers as well, because we can count. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Things you've learned back when you were in elementary school. These are counting numbers. Okay. Now, real numbers starts throwing in things like fractions. Okay, so 1/2 is a real number. Decimals are real numbers. These are different types of numbers as well. Mixed numbers. So you can use 4 1/3 is a different type of real number. Large numbers, small numbers, positive, negative, they all can be real numbers. Okay, so this is just an understanding of what different types of numbers we're going to be encountering in this class. So the next thing we're going to talk about in lesson 4 is multiplication and division of fractions. Now, the difference between multiplication and division of fractions, dividing fractions, and adding and subtracting fractions is we're not looking for a common denominator. We're just simply going to, especially with multiplication, we're going to simply just multiply across. So in this case, we're going to take 4 times 7, and we get 28, and 3 times 5 is 15. And so there's your answer for something as simple as 4/3 times 7/5. Now, if we want to divide fractions, we want to take something, for example, let's look at 4/3 divided by 15/8. Now, the key to dividing fractions is going to be a little different than multiplication. And so basically what we're doing is you're just going to multiply by the reciprocal. Now, to make this a little bit easier, the way I like to look at it is we're just going to keep the first fraction. So we'll keep the first one. We're going to change our symbol from division to multiplication. And then we're going to flip our second number. So 8/15. So the way I look at it is we're going to keep it, change it, flip it. Remember that. Keep it, change it, flip it. So now that we've got that, we'll simply just multiply across. 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 15 is 45. And there's your final answer. So just keep in mind, remember, in multiplication, we're just going to multiply across. We're going to multiply the numerator times the numerator, the denominator times the denominator. When we divide, we're going to keep our first fraction, change our sign, and flip the next fraction. So keep it, change it, flip it, and we'll get our final answer. Now, when we're multiplying fractions as well, one of the things that we come across is sometimes you can go ahead and multiply this across and you can wind up reducing down. But also what you could do is actually just cancel out some things. So we have to cancel out across is the only way we can do this. So in this case, we know 7 and 9, there's no way we can cancel that. But you can see we can cancel 3 and 30. So we'll just take out the 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. 3 is going to go into 30 10 times. So now we have 7/1 times 10/9. We'll multiply across. 7 times 10 is 70. 1 times 9 is 9. We get a final answer of 70/9. So you look here, we have a 3 fraction problem. We see that we can actually take here, we can go 3 can cancel out, become a 1, and 3 can go into 6 2 times. The 5s can cancel out, so we have 5 goes into 5 one time, 5 goes into 5 one time. Now we just multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 21 is 21, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 23 is 46, and we get a final answer of 21/46. So the last thing we're going to talk about in lesson 4 is we're going to be working with decimals. So we're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Just kind of do a review of this. So let's take the first one here, 4.0016 plus 0.02163. The key thing when we add or subtract numbers is we're going to place them, we're going to line the decimals up. Okay, this is going to be a little different than multiplication and division. So in this case, we're going to line the decimals up. So we're going to take our 0, put it here, then we have a 0, 2, 1, 6, 3. So we're actually going to add our extra 0 out here. So let's do the same thing with our subtraction. 0.02163. Okay, so go ahead and put our 0 here. So when we add, we're just going to go straight up and down each column. 3 plus 0 is 3. 6 plus 6 is 12. Carry our 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 0 is 0. And 4 plus 0 is 4. We'll just bring our decimal straight down, and we get an answer of 4.02323. That's what happens when we add them together. Now let's subtract them to see what happens. We can't subtract 0